What really happened in Afghanistan was not just another incident, it was a tragedy that has raised serious questions about truth. A place that was meant to heal people, a rehabilitation center in Kabul where drug addicts were being treated, suddenly turned into a site of destruction and death. Reports suggest that hundreds of people lost their lives, and almost immediately, conflicting claims began to emerge. Some said it was an arms depot, others claimed suicide bombers were being trained there, while another narrative suggested that those killed were simply drug addicts abandoned by their families. There were even voices claiming it was a false flag operation. However, investigations and reports, including those referenced by BBC, indicated that the site had a long history. It was once used by American forces as a training camp, later converted into a rehabilitation center in 2017, and continued to function as such, even after the Taliban came to power in 2021. This makes the incident even more alarming, because it raises a critical question. Was the target properly verified before the attack? As global reactions started to pour in, organizations like the World Health Organization raised concerns over the humanitarian impact, while eyewitness accounts described horrific scenes of burnt bodies and devastation. The Afghan government began briefing international organizations and diplomatic missions, presenting evidence to support its claim that civilians were targeted. Detailed official stance emerged immediately, which further fueled confusion. Another debate began. Those who questioned the attack or highlighted civilian casualties were labeled as traitors. This raises a deeper issue about freedom of expression and whether speaking against injustice is considered disloyalty. In many countries, including the United States, criticism of government actions, leaders like Joe Biden and Donald Trump have openly criticized each other's policies, and citizens frequently oppose war decisions without being branded as enemies of the state. At the same time, this incident cannot be seen in isolation, because it is deeply connected to long-standing tensions between Pakistan and Afghanistan, particularly regarding terrorism. And this cycle of blame has only intensified conflict rather than resolving it. Some analysts argue that militant networks were once strategically created and later became uncontrollable, leading to a situation where violence continues under different justifications than fighting them, and in the process, generating more instability. When we look at the broader geopolitical picture, the situation becomes even more complex. Statements attributed to figures like Donald Trump regarding strategic assets such as air bases in Afghanistan have added another layer of tension, suggesting that global power politics may also be influencing regional conflicts. This is not just about one country or one incident. Leadership changes in Iran, especially after the loss of key figures, have reduced the chances of diplomacy and increased the likelihood of confrontation. Hardline positions are replacing moderate voices, and as a result, the path to negotiation is narrowing. This raises fears of a larger conflict, with several possible scenarios being discussed, from direct military confrontation to diplomatic pressure, regional alliances, or even the possibility of nuclear escalation. Each of these scenarios carries massive consequences, not just for the region, but for the entire world. Countries that were once firmly aligned with the United States are now showing hesitation, focusing more on their own national interests rather than blindly supporting any single power. This suggests that the world is moving away from a unipolar system toward a multipolar order, where multiple countries influence global decisions. This shift is significant because it challenges the long-standing idea that one country can dominate global politics without resistance. Today, nations are more independent in their decision-making, forming new alliances and refusing to be pressured into conflicts that do not serve their interests. Even traditional allies are choosing caution over commitment, signaling a major transformation in international relations. At the same time, internal dynamics within countries like Pakistan are also changing. Questions about the role of institutions, accountability, and governance are becoming more prominent, and public awareness is growing. People are beginning to challenge narratives and demand transparency, which indicates a shift in how power is perceived and exercised. And the end. The Afghanistan incident is not just about a single attack. It is a reflection of a much larger reality. It shows how truth can become fragmented, how narratives can be manipulated, and how civilian lives often become the biggest casualties in conflicts driven by power and politics. It also highlights an important principle. Calling out injustice is not betrayal. Whether that happens in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, or anywhere else in the world, it remains wrong, and silence only allows it to continue. The world today stands at a critical turning point, where decisions made now will shape the future of global stability. The question is whether nations will choose accountability, dialogue, and truth, or continue down a path of conflict, denial, and power struggles.